can challenge the students. Okay. So all in all, what are the principles of an effective task? What make your task so effective? I think somebody already used the word personalization. That's good. What else? There are 5 principles of effective tasks. Can we all guess together? You can write something in the group. What makes a task effective or produces good learning? You can write something in the chat box. We can guess together. What are the principles of an effective task? Information gap. Yes. Information gap is an activity that is very interesting, very effective. Variations, fun, meaningful, good job, clear. Relate to students' reality, good. And need to use their mindset to answer. Critical thinking, high order thinking. Appropriate level of challenge, yes. Nice. Keep writing or you will be sleepy. It's almost time to sleep. Fun-based, free controlled, success-oriented. Very good. Clear instruction, reliability. Reliability is assessment, just something related to assessment. Communicative, yeah. Okay. Nice. Thank you for your answers, everyone. Let's check the answers together. According to PennyU 2012, it's not based on me. It's not according to me, according to the author of the book that I have read, my idol. So the first principle is validity. What do we mean by validity here? So your task must respond well to the objective of your lesson. So if you are teaching, the objective of the lesson is listening, make sure that the activity is mainly about listening. If the target language is reading, make sure that it's more about reading and not about listening. You know, sometimes in some tasks, it said listening practice, but then the listening text is just this short. And then the questions, the multiple choice questions that the student have to answer are so long. So the student spend most of the time reading the questions, not really listening. And listening should be, the language in listening should not be too complicated, too complex, too difficult to understand. It should be something more about spoken language. So, but if the student have to listen to something that is too technical and then answer the questions that are so hard, so they spend most of the time reading the questions and not really listening. So that means this task or this test has no validity. And if the objective of the lesson is grammar or is speaking, make sure that most of the time students speak and not really write. I noticed that some teachers and some people just find someone who. I think this activity is so interesting. But if the student have to spend too much time writing, if you only have to write the name or a tick, that's fine. But if you have to write the answer, a lot of remarks or comments about the person that you have interviewed, that means students spend so much time writing, not really speaking. But the nature of find someone who it should be speaking. That means this task or this test has no validity. So number 1, make sure that the task responds to the objective of the lesson. If you want to practice can and can't, make sure that in the activity, they use a lot of can and can't and not other thing, not focusing on vocabulary or other words. If the objective is there is and there are, make sure that students use a lot of there is, there are in their communication or in the task. That is number 1. The task responds well to the objective of the lesson. Number 2 is quantity. Can you guess what quantity means here? Yes, penny ur. To do it. You can write something about quantity. What do we mean by quantity as the principle of an effective task here? Not too much, not too long. Anything else? Are you writing? Okay. Wait. The time repeatedly. Okay. Have you ever played hangman, everyone? Yes? Yes? Yes, very good. What do the students spend most of their time doing in the game hangman? Okay. So when you play hangman, the students have to spend most of their time guessing. If the teacher gives some clue, imagine, yeah, guessing. If the teacher gives some clue, that's okay. Based on the clue, I can come up with the word. The student can come up with the word very fast. But if I say, okay, everyone, here are 7 dashes. You have to come up with the word. This is something that we're gonna study about today. So let's guess the letter. So they spend a lot of the time guessing, not really producing the language. That means it has less quantity. So quantity here means students spend most of their time producing the language or speaking English in this context and not spending time on not knowing the answer. So if you give a task to the student or you ask the student questions that they don't have any ideas and then they have to keep guessing or just asking each other, not knowing the answer, this task has no quantity. Or if you say, I give you 5 minutes to do this exercise, but then just fill in the gaps with M is R. And then they use only 1 or 2 minutes finishing it. And then you have to wait for 5 minutes. This is also no quantity. If you say, this is a listening practice, but the listening tag is so short, and then they have to spend a lot of time answering questions like writing or understanding the questions. This is also has no quantity, has less quantity because students don't spend a lot of time on practicing the target language. Does it make sense, everyone? So hangman is not really highly recommended. Yes, very much. So I myself also have this experience that sometimes I go to school and then I don't know what, like feel like we still have a lot of time left in the past, but not really now. I'm now a better teacher. But in the past, feel like don't know what to do. And then I just spend a lot of time looking at the student's face, what to do next. And then also sometimes just play music in the classroom or just let the student do this and that, but it does not really produce good learning. So it has no quantity or less quantity during the teaching hour. Scavenger hunt. I think that is the game. I think this scavenger hunt is so fun, but if it's not too difficult, and then the purpose is to have fun in the classroom, that's okay. So here I mainly talk about the task that you want to produce the language during the teaching session. Yeah. Sometimes we just want to have fun. That's another thing. But now we want to talk about practicing the language, okay, about the task here. And so number 1, validity. Number 2, quantity. Number 3, success orientation. It should not be too hard, but it should not be too easy. If it's too hard, it's of course we need to give something to the student that is a bit challenging to them. So it should be only I+1. So I is what you know. +1 is something above what you know, not I+5, not I+10, +10. So it's just I+1. You know your student's level. So for me, I always try to do it first, and then I try to imagine whether my student can do it or not. That is important. Sometimes they don't do it, they don't enjoy do it. Maybe it's not success-oriented, too difficult. So don't blame the student all the time. It can be the problem of the teacher too. Heterogeneity. Heterogeneity here means it meets the different levels, styles, interests, preferences of the students. Remember the previous questions? I asked you, say, among 1 to 6, you can choose any number to do it, to answer it. So you don't have to answer all of them, all of the item from 1 to 6. And you can just pick any one that you know that is already heterogeneous, because we are different levels. We know, I mean, students are at different levels. Maybe they cannot do all the 6 in 2 or 3 minutes, but if you say try to do as much as you can in 2 minutes, as much as you can, and you can start from wherever you want to, and then they feel less pressure. So at least they can do 1, or at least they can do 2. So to promote heterogeneity, we often say that we set the time, not quantity, and always say the word start wherever you want to. So even in the test, you say if you have to stick to number 1 and then number 2 and then number 3, you can get stuck. So say start wherever you want and set the time. Say if you want the student to write a paragraph, you don't say, okay, you have to write 500 words. No, you say, try to write as much as you can. Or at least, you can say at least 100. If you can, do more. So that the advanced one can do more, and the lower level one can also do their best. Okay. Heterogeneity does not only mean about the level, students level, the mixed level, but it can be also about their interest. So actually here, I cannot, there are some other activities that you can, in the kindergarten, I often see that they put different tables in the classroom, and on each table, they have different activities that the student can do. In one group, they have blocks. In another group, they can paint. In another group, they can read stories. That is also heterogeneity, considering about the differences of the students in the classroom. And then finally, interest. Make sure that the task is interesting. Sometimes the text, if you are teaching reading, maybe the text is not interesting. That's right. Maybe the text is not interesting, but if you can create an interesting task for them, this text can be interesting. I mean, this activity still can be interesting. So a task can help a boring text, but an interesting text cannot help a boring task. So task is even more interesting than text. Okay. So when you have a text in the book, you see that it's very boring, and then think about activity that you can make it more interesting. For example, maybe 1 minute. I give you 1 minute to look at the text and then turn it over. How much do you remember about it? And then do you remember any adjectives in the text? So just make it a bit challenging for them. Okay. That should be more interesting than text. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Back. Okay. So I don't know why it's hard. Again, so what are the 5 principles of assessment? Everyone write your answer in the chat box. 5 principles of assessment. Let's have a race. Typing race. What are the 5 principles of assessment? Not assessment, tasks. Suppose effective. Thank you. Nice. Good. Okay. Which one? Question. Which one means that your task, I mean, students should spend most of their time producing the language? Which one? Very good. Which one? Which one means that students can do the activity at their own pace and level and preferences. Good job. Can you pronounce the word heterogeneity? 1, 2, 3. Heterogeneity. Turn on your mic.
Heterogeneity.
More?
Heterogeneity.
Very good.
Heterogeneity.
Well done.
Heterogeneity.
Hey, good job. American people say heterogeneity. Ah,
Heterogeneity.
well done. Good job.
Heterogeneity.
Excellent. Good pronunciation. Well done. Which one means that the activities, the content of the task must reflect the objective of the lesson? Well done. Okay, good job. Now we can move on. Thank you so much. Okay. Now let's move on to this activity again. The same. So look at this task. Complete the sentences with am, is, are. Remember last time, what did I do to this task to make it more effective, more interesting? What did I do to this task to make it more interesting? Remove the subject. Excellent. It's now your turn. What else can we do to this task to make it more interesting besides removing the subject? Now, instead of removing the subject, what else can we do to this task? To practice the verb to be, and we want to make it more heterogeneity. We want to make it more interesting. We want to make it more like produce more quantity. Excellent. This time you can remove the object. That's right. Well done. You're so smart. Or maybe you already know it before. Okay. See, we can remove the endings and let the student complete them. Can we try together? Choose at least 2 sentences to complete the ending. Let's choose it together. Let's do it together. Choose at least 2, everyone. At least 2. 1. Come on. If we remove the end. Yes, even we remove the ending, the means here we give them the verb to be, but then at least they have to think about what comes after verb to be. And then when they read the sentences to their partner, I always let the student compare their answer with their friends. I think even you remove the object and then they don't have to write verb to be, but at least they have to come up with the noun that responds well to am, is, are. I think that is another level already. They are still practicing the verb to be. Thank you so much. You, she is kissed every morning before going to school. How lucky she is. Thank you. Move on to the next one. Look, reviewing a set of words. Now we've got 5 words: excited, nervous, sad, surprised, terrible. Choose one adjective to describe your feeling now. If it is here, you can choose from here. If it's not from here, it can be somewhere else. Write one adjective to describe your feeling now, everyone. I hope it's not terrible. Listen, you should not be nervous. It's me. Okay. Surprise. So excited. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well done. Now, another task. We need to be fast. Now, task 1. The teacher invites students to take any one word of their choice and compose a sentence that contextualizes it. Can we try it together? Choose one adjective and compose a sentence. You already did it. I'm nervous about my teaching practicum. Okay, I think a lot of you already did it, so no need. Number 2. Now you are invited to take any 2 words of your choice and compose a single sentence that contextualizes both of them. Now you have to make a sentence with 2 adjectives from the list. Can we do it together? 2 adjectives in one sentence. Two adjectives in one sentence. 1 minute. Okay. I'm so excited to read your sentences. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, number 1 and number 2, which one is more effective? Oh, more interesting. 1 and 2, which one is more interesting? Okay. So most of us say 1 and most of us say 2. Mm. Mm. Yes. Okay. What make the number 2 more interesting, everyone? What make the number 2 more interesting? Two. Yeah, it's more challenging. Quantity? Yes. One is easy, two is more challenging. Yes. Mm. So some challenge can make a task more interesting. Okay. It's more challenging, yeah. Heterogeneity? Yes, it's kind of heterogeneity because you can use your own information, and then the advanced one can make longer sentence or more complex sentence, and the slower one still can make sentences, but they use more simple words. Yes, see? So when you give freedom to the students to complete the task, it already promotes heterogeneity. So heterogeneity is more about giving freedom to the students to complete the task. Don't just say, you must do this, you must do that, you have to finish this, you have to finish that, you must use this, you must use that. No, you can pick any words that you feel easy with doing it and do it at your own pace, at your own levels. Yeah, okay. So number 2 is more interesting. That's my sentence. She is excited because today is her birthday. This is already good, but she is excited about her birthday, but feels sad that one of her best friends cannot show up. This is even more interesting. Okay. It's creates, critical thinking and also creative imagination. Now I already feel like I see some pictures. Okay. Okay. Next one. I have to rush. Okay. Interest is one of the most important principles of a task. I don't say it's the most important, but one of the most. To me, I feel like validity is the most important one because the task must respond to the objective of the lesson. But interest is also so important. If it's not interesting, even it responds to the objective of the lesson, students still not interested in doing it. So interest of a classroom task is so important. And there are a lot of principles, 9. One is initiative. You feel like you want to do it because you can initiate the ideas, like you can use your own ideas. It comes from what you are thinking, comes from your own information. It comes from you. So when students have a chance to initiate the ideas, it's more interesting. Open ending. So there are many possible answers. It's not only fixed one correct answer. So it's more open ending. Collaboration, most of the time when we work together, we are happier. It's more interesting than working alone. Most of the time, although some activity is better to work alone, but most of the interesting tasks, fun tasks, is done together, collaboratively. Success, if students, after doing it, they feel like they succeed in doing it, although, they don't win the game, but at least they complete it. So this is also a sign of success. They feel like they have done it, they did it. Even they are not number 1, but at least they completed with their group. Success. They don't feel like it's too difficult. Higher order thinking, that's the challenge. When you feel like you have to think very hard to do it, but at the end of the day, you still can do it. So it's not, you are teaching the adult learners and then you cannot give something that's too childish, too low, like for young learners to the adult learners. So you need to consider the levels and then let them think creative a little bit. That will be more interesting. Personalization is so important. When you can talk about your own information, talk about your own experience, talk about your opinion, you are happier to share, to talk. Just like now, if I have to tell you about my love story with my husband, I have tons of things to talk about. People like telling about their own information. Is it true, everyone? Yeah. Interpersonal communication, when we have a chance to talk to each other, that is also interesting. Information gap, that's why information gap is so effective when it comes to practicing the language, because they have to exchange the information with each other. So it's interesting. Game-like activity. So when the activity is like a game, it's like a race, it's like a competition, it's fun, that is more interesting. What makes a normal activity become like a game? Do you know, everyone? What makes a normal activity become like a game? Competition? Race? Yes. Yes. Just one group win. Time limit? Excellent. Set the time and the rule. You set the time and the rule. For example, you say, you cannot talk. You can only do gesture. Or you can only make the sound. So you have to line up based on the day that you were born, from Monday to Sunday, but you cannot talk or in 1 minute. So when you set the time, say you have only 1 minute to complete this, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. So when you set the rule and you set the time, then it becomes like a game. Okay, we will try it one. Finally, visual focus. Yeah, when we can see something, it's more interesting. So all in all, interest comes from initiative. Students have to come up with their own ideas, open-ending, a lot of possible answers, collaboration, work together, success-oriented, make sure students feel the sense of success or they feel like they can do it. Higher order thinking, they have to think. And personalization, use their own information, experience, idea. And then interpersonal communication, when they have to exchange information, talk to people. It's like a game, set the time, set the rule, make it fun, and something that they can see if possible, especially for young learners. Very quick, everyone. What are the 9 principles of interest? Which one comes to your mind? Which one is the most important? Write it first. What comes to my mind? I like the word personalization. Initiative, yes. Visual, yes. A lot of mosquitoes. Okay. I just want to switch on the fan. Yeah, it's hot. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Now let's move on to the task comparison again. Look at task 1. Students do the matching exercises on their own and then check with the partner. So this activity is used to practice vocabulary about feelings. Can you come up with other activities to make this task more effective? I'm sorry that we don't have enough time to do this elicitation. Do the gesture about feeling. Very good. That's nice. Okay. This is just a possible activity. Students complete the sentences on their own to describe the experiences they have had and then share with their partners. So instead of just matching, they have to contextualize it. I was angry because blah, 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 blah. I was sad. Can we try one? Choose one among the 5 here and write your sentence. You can say, I was doubtful because, I was delighted because, I felt jealous when. Okay, let's 1 minute to write your answer. Okay. Nice. Mhm. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So you can see that number 2 is more interesting because a student have the chance to personalize it because it's more challenging, require higher order thinking. And then students also have a chance to interact with other people. So it promotes interpersonal communication. And then it's more open ending because you can initiate your ideas, you can write whatever you come to your mind. So you can see that number 2 is more interesting. Nice. Do you see the differences between task 1 and task 2, everyone? Which one do you like more? Okay. Thanks for saying 2 or both. Yeah. Yes. You can do number 1 first and then number 2. Number 1 is so common. So that's what we see most of the time in the textbook. It's not wrong to have it. It's good to check comprehension. But then if you want to produce more learning, more like language practicing, and then I would recommend number 2. So when you plan the lesson, you have the engage stage, you have the study stage, where you have presentation and practice. Then you also have the activate stage, which is the production of the student. So this activity can be in the production stage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Grammar, there is and there are. You can see task number 1 here, student in groups. Students write sentences with there is and there are based on the picture. The teacher then asks each group to share their sentences. This is very common. So they sit in a group and then they have to write, there are 2 dogs, or there are 3 dogs, there are 2 benches, there is 1 sun, there is a bird, there are some clouds, there is a bubble, for example. So they have to write, look at the picture and write. And then the number 2 is a bit different. Sorry, they're very long instruction. This time they don't need to write. They sit in the group and then one person is the note taker. Every time their friends say a sentence, they put a tick. Every time they hear a sentence from their friends, they put a tick. So only tick, 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 tick. So for example, there is a bird, there is a sun, there are some trees, there are 3 benches, there is a ball, there is a boy. So just tick, 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 tick. In 2 minutes or in 1 minute, you count how many ticks you have got. So which one do you think, which task allows students to produce more speaking? To produce more speaking. Yeah, because you don't have to spend so much time writing. Of course, if you want to practice writing, maybe number 1. But number 2 is more challenging. What is more interesting is that you can do it the second round. So after the first round, you can ask students how many ticks you've got. Group 1 say 10 ticks. Group 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ticks, for example. That means they have to use 13 sentences in their discussion. Then you say, now let's move on to the second round. This time you must beat your first round. So again, in 1 minute, try to say out the sentences as much as you can in 1 minute. So this time, because they have the experience from the first round, this time they will be faster and they will talk more. And they don't compete with other group, but they compete with their own group. If the first round got 10, second round, they have to go about 10. and you set 1 minute. This is like a game. I'm sure that it's more interesting and more fun. I did it with my students and it was so fun. It's more challenging. It's more interesting. It's a game-like activity. So yes. Now it's your turn. We have 10 minutes. You have to propose one task, ensuring its effectiveness based on the 5 aspects of a good task: validity, quantity, success orientation, heterogeneity, and interest. And you have to complete your answers in the Google Doc here. Let me show you one example. This is my example. We will share the link with you, Google Doc here. You click on it, and then you will go to this page. So this is my example. The name of the task is A Cup of Conversation. The target language is can and can't. Expected learning outcome is students will be able to express their ability using can and can't with the action verbs. And the procedure is, yeah, students are divided into groups of 4. Each group gets a cup, something like that. So we will put you into groups, and then you have to write your answers in your own table. Group 1, group 2, group 3, up to group 10. So we will put you into 10 groups. So one group will be 7, 8 people. So you have to work collaboratively, come up with one activity that you think is very learning rich, effective. It produces a lot of it produces good learning. It can be an activity that you know before, a game, anything. Is it clear, everyone? Yes, yes, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I think this is a very important activity. I beg for your cooperation because we will all complete this table together. By the end of the day, you will have 10 effective tasks to use in your classroom, plus 1 from me, it will be 11.
So I have divided the group into, yes, around 6 or 7. So you have received the Google Doc, right? So please open the Google Doc link, and then when you go into the breakout room, so please turn on your camera and your mic to interact with other people. If you don't turn on your mic or your camera, so it's very difficult to work collaboratively with each other, right? So we will have 10 minutes for the discussion, right? 10
10
minutes,
minutes.
right?
Yes, 10
Okay.
minutes, please.
Okay, you're ready? So let's go.
Linda, Trump, Ding, can you all turn on your camera? Hello. I just come to see you. I will not help you. Are you all here? Ding? I cannot pronounce your name. Simon, you have your laptop? You have to, oh, we cannot hear you.
I'm using my phone.
Oh, now we can hear you. But I'm not sure if Trang Li and Lu Ding are here. Are you here? Maybe not. You are using your phone? Sao
Yeah.
hả?